Hey, loves, let's talk today about how to discern the proper partner, how to qualify the people that you're dating so that you can find the person who is right for you. When it comes to working with my clients, one of the first things that I have them to do is make a list of the things that they want in a partner. And I'm not telling you that you can't have all of your dreams and that you can't have the man who is perfect for you. That being said, oftentimes when I see these lists, I see that the mindset behind these lists is incorrect. There is a proper way to create a list, and there is a proper way to vet a partner and see if he is going to be right for you. So, when it comes to doing this vetting, first of all, one of the biggest issues that I see with some of these lists sometimes is that they are too long. Lists that are pages long that have dozens and dozens of qualifications. I'm not saying that that's unrealistic, but I am saying that it hampers your focus. Here's the thing, if you are in your head looking for 30, 40 different qualities, and every single date you go on, you're searching for those different qualities, balls are going to be dropped. You're going to miss red flags. It is important that when it comes to any goal that we have in life, we fix our focus. As a business owner, there are a lot of things that I would like to do for my business. There are a lot of dreams that I have. At the same time, if I'm focused on all of those things at one time, then I'm not doing any of those things the way that they should be done. I'm not giving any of those things their due diligence. So I have to focus on what's important, what's most important for my business right now. What are the things that need to happen for it to grow right now? And then I can focus on the other factors as well. So when you are out here dating and you're looking for a great partner, first of all, I do recommend that most of my clients date more than one person at a time. I think that this is a good way to keep your options open, to hone your discernment, and also not allow yourself to get too attached too early. So, with that in mind, it becomes especially important that you really focus on the most important qualities that you desire in a partner, that you really hone in on those things so that if you are rotational dating, if you are dating more than one person at a time, you can look for these qualities first. And then when you get to the point where you're, say, dating two or three different men, and remember, dating is data collection. It doesn't mean you have to sleep with anyone, it just means that you're getting to know people. So when you're getting to the stage where you have more than one option, you can then look at some of the other qualities on your list. You can then think about some of the other things that would be nice to have once you've met a couple of men who have your absolute must haves. But being able to focus on the most important things first is going to carry you so much further when it comes to finding the right partner. So, yes, I ask that you put aside the incredibly long list to begin with and focus on a few vital things that you really, really must have in a partner, to know what your standards are, to know what your deal breakers are. And then also back to that idea of focusing on what truly matters. Here's the thing, there have been a few studies about this that show that it is not common interest that make a relationship last for a long period of time. So often I see women say, "Oh, well, he needs to have the same hobbies as me. We need to be into the same types of books and movies and all of that." And that is great to share some interest. It makes life a little bit easier when it comes to things like planning dates and all of that. But what truly makes a relationship last is not common interests, but common values. So you want to get clear on what are your values? What are the things that matter to you more than anyone else? How important is family to you? How important is spirituality to you and your faith and your religion? Get clear on that. For example, I grew up Christian and to be specific, Pentecostal. My husband grew up Catholic. So when I was dating and I was asking myself what was really important to me as far as faith and a strong sense of spirituality were very important to me. Not so much being incredibly religious, because growing up as a preacher's kid, um, I encountered more people than I would care to discuss who were very religious outwardly, but had a lot of things going on outside of church, outside of Sundays, that did not appeal to me, that um, that I didn't want to see repeated in my own life, and I didn't want those types of people around. So, if you're familiar with the Bible and with the New Testament specifically, and you know about the Sadducees and Pharisees, it was these types, the types who like to follow the letter of the law, but not necessarily the spirit, the types that like to be more hypocritical. So when it came to looking for my own partner, I wanted someone who I felt had a personal relationship with God. And I did want someone who was also Christian the way that I am, because I felt that that would make things easier as far as like, raising children, and as far as being able to talk each other's language. I minored in religious studies in college. So when it comes to my clients, I coach Christian women. I also coach Jewish women, Muslim women. I coach women who are agnostic, who are more woo than they are any type of organized faith. And while I get along with those women well, I understand their backgrounds well. And, I have friends of those faiths and beliefs as well. And I have great relationships with them too. I definitely felt like in a marriage, it was very important that someone had that same Christian background, and then as far as reconciling the fact that we grew up different denominations, Protestant and Catholic, or him being Catholic and me being specifically Pentecostal, we go to a non-denominational church because I wasn't that caught up on the denomination being the same. Um, I was more concerned with having the same general foundation, and then also the personal relationship and being able to see that personal growth. So I give you that as an example of my thought process on what were the priorities. You need to do the same thing when you are looking for a partner, is you need to consider, what are your priorities? How high of a value do you place those? And to get specific about what aspects of those are values. Another example, maybe you value health. Are you okay with someone they have no chronic health conditions and they're generally healthy, but they eat a fair amount of junk? Like, are you going to decide, okay, that's okay with you, and just pray that that doesn't catch up with them later? Or do you need someone who has similar diet to you? Do you need someone who you work out a lot and you kind of expect that other person to also be doing the same thing and working on their fitness? How important of a value is that to you, and why? Because maybe it is about looks and appearances. You work hard on yours, you want someone to work hard on theirs. Maybe it's about the fact that you come from a family with a lot of chronic health conditions. You don't want to pass that to your children. You don't want to marry someone who has a lot of chronic health conditions. Decide on what the values are and be clear on why they are important. The other thing that you want to consider is, remember, I just said that one of the things that keeps a marriage, keeps a relationship in general together, is similarity of values. So this is something that I'm constantly working with my clients on, is to not be fooled by chemistry. Chemistry is great. It really is. But there are two things that you have to keep in mind. One, at some point, that butterflies in the stomach type chemistry, even in a great relationship, at some point it fades. You go from that type of like honeymoon type love to a different kind of love, which is still great. But it's also more settled, it's more trusting. So from that perspective, it's great. You're allowed to really be yourself with the person. You're allowed to be more vulnerable with the person. but it's not that butterfly feeling that you get in the beginning. The other thing is you have to consider your own past and your own wounds. Because if you are in a situation where you've had traumatic experiences in your early life, or there weren't a lot of healthy relationships modeled for you when you were younger, if you're in a situation where you've been heartbroken a lot of times and you haven't healed from that, the chemistry that you feel can be a trauma bond. It can be you reattaching yourself to patterns of trauma, abuse, mistreatment that you've had in the past. You are attracted to those things in a new person because those things are familiar. So, unless you've done the work to heal yourself, unless you've gotten the accountability partners, you've seen a therapist, or you've seen a coach, and you really work through those issues, you will constantly find yourself having chemistry with people who are not healthy for you. So make sure that when you are in a situation where you feel chemistry with someone, that you question it, that you're able to, you know, write down, list what are red flags that you're seeing in the relationship, what are green flags that you're seeing in the relationship, that you're able to really get some perspective on it, and that you have that awareness about yourself as to whether or not you've really healed from your past. The final thing that you want to consider when you are discerning a partner is, remember, we've talked about focusing on what's really important, knowing what your values are, knowing what your deal breakers are as well, understanding the chemistry and knowing whether this is a potential red flag because you may be attracted to things that you haven't healed, or understanding if this is a green flag that you care about this person and you really want to see them and build with them, but it's not as exciting because it's not chaotic and because you've done the healing. So once you have those things in place, you want to make sure that you are in alignment with the things that you are asking for. So when you are using your discernment, you have to remember that so often on social media, you'll see people say something along the lines of, you're a mirror to what you attract. And if you keep attracting trash, it's because you're trash yourself. Here's the truth: if you are out here dating, you are going to attract all kinds. You are going to attract great men for you. You're going to attract high value men who really want to take care of you and cherish you and who are willing to step up and make those commitments. You're also going to attract trash. So it is not that you are a mirror to what you attract. It is that you are a mirror to what you tolerate. If you are allowing yourself to stay in prolonged relationships that aren't serving you, then it's time that you look at yourself and you start to question why you're allowing yourself to stay in these relationships. So if you want someone who takes care of you, who has that provider type energy, for example, then it's important that you're able to receive love. So you may be staying in relationships with people who take a lot from you instead of giving, and relationships with people who don't treat you well because you haven't done the work on yourself to learn how to receive. You feel like you constantly have to do in order to be in a relationship. You feel like you constantly have to prove yourself and show that you're worthy of a relationship. So, this is why you don't attract relationships that allow you to receive. If you say that you want to be in a relationship with someone who is emotionally mature, are you emotionally mature yourself? Are you emotionally intelligent yourself? Because if not, you can enter into a relationship with someone who is emotionally mature and they're not going to want to stay in a relationship with you because they've done that work and that growth. They want someone who has also done that growth. This may lead you to stay in relationships where you are with partners who are also not emotionally mature, because these people are never going to hold you accountable to you growing yourself. So again, when it comes to discerning whether or not someone is in alignment with what you're looking for in a relationship, when it comes to discerning if this can be a great partner for you, you want to bear in mind, Does this person share similar values with you? If the two of you come from different backgrounds, is this something that can be overcome? Are the two of you both willing to put in the work and to compromise and to learn how to merge each other's backgrounds so that you can come up with a new relationship? You can build new traditions together. Is this someone who meets the things that you need in a relationship? Do you understand what your priorities are based on your background, your personality, based on where you're planning on going in life? Are you with someone who can handle those things and who can honor those things? These are the important considerations that you want to make when you are entering into any relationship.